Okay, so let's continue with our GitHub series, and in that series, currently we are looking to the GitHub actions. So in the previous videos, we are covering some GitHub events, events basically. So we are creating the workflow which is in the YAML format, whose extension is either YML or YAML. Right. So event means when that particular workflow is going to be triggered. Either you need to trigger it manually or you need to schedule it, like how it's going to be triggered. So there are so many events. All right. So we have covered workflow run, we have covered workflow dispatch, we have covered workflow call. In the last video, we have covered schedule. So let me show you the schedule event schedule. So like we need to write this syntax, we need to give schedule, and we need to provide the cron expression. All right. Now in this video, we will see the push and the pull request event, because these five events are now widely used, like workflow dispatch, workflow call, workflow run, schedule, not five, even though six: schedule, push, and pull request. So that's why the other events not like widely used, but you can use. You can just click on it and just you have to change the parameter on. So as an example, so you need to change here parameter, and whatever the syntax, you can just like see the syntax here. So we are looking at the push and the pull request event. So push means, so whenever you are doing any changes, so you are pushing some any commits, right? So any change you are going to run, then you want your test needs to be triggered or your workflow needs to be triggered. So push events is widely used because you have created a workflow to which is going to run some test. All right, and also which is going to do some kind of a deployment. Just leave the deployment for the time being, which is going to run some test. All right, either it's unit test, functional test, integration test, any type of test. Now you want whatever code I'm going to push, whenever I am going to push any code, the test is going to be triggered just to check the functionality. Okay, whatever changes I did, whether it is going to break the existing test or not. All right. So that is the push event. And pull request is, so whenever like you are going to raise any pull request. So whenever person is working on some branches and the person is going to raise a pull request. So as soon as you notice, sometimes the pull request has been triggered, so many workflow has been run. So test workflow, some like unit test workflow, some functional test workflow has been started. All right. So we will see that. So let's create another file. So let me close this. So let's create another file. So 13 pull, push, and pull request event dot. It should be either YAML or YML, both are fine. So let's give the name 13 push and pull request event. Then we need to give the run name. So it is optional, but still we are giving in all the videos. We can give that. Let me give that run name. Okay, so let me remove this duplicate run name. Now come to the main point, on. So when we want to run our workflow on push request, on push, and on pull request. All right, and on pull request. But on pull request, you could see there are so many activity types. Like pull request can be open, pull request can be reopened, pull request can be closed, pull request can be edited, pull request can be labeled, pull request can be unlabeled. All right, so there is like so many types. When you want to trigger, so you can mention the types as well, types. So generally when we want to, so whenever someone is going to open the pull request or make it a review requested, then we can trigger our workflow. So opened or maybe reopened. So for both push and the pull requests, so our workflow needs to be triggered. So here we are covering both events in a single a video. So push and the pull request. So it doesn't mean on should take only one kind of event. No, so on can take multiple kind of events. So basically that particular workflow can be triggered on push request as well, can be triggered on pull request as well. Push, not request, push commits, and the pull request as well. And maybe let's suppose you want to do the workflow dispatch as well. So you can trigger the workflow dispatch. So if you want to trigger it manually, then you can mention workflow dispatch as well. All right. So it's up to us when we want. So now we have to mention the jobs. All right. So let's give the job name build and test and run zone Ubuntu latest. All right. So let me copy paste some code because we are running some tests. So just let me copy paste the steps. Or like as I told you in the last video, so there is no need to do the copy paste. We can reuse the workflow. So there is a common workflow which has everything the same. So I can call the same workflow, but like for the timing, I am like putting it here. Okay. So which is just checking out the repository, setting up the Python, then install the dependency, then running the test, and it is going to generate my report. And I forgot to do one thing. So basically, to create a pull request, I should work on some different branch. Currently, I'm the main branch. Okay, let me create a branch. Feature test. All right. Now let me push that. Git push minus u origin and feature slash test. So now we have pushed that. So if we push that, our workflow should trigger. You could see automatically our workflow has been started because it is mentioned like our workflow should be triggered on the push request as well. So as soon as I did the push, our workflow has been triggered, right? And in that one job is running, and in the one job there are multiple steps, right? So which is fine. So let me wait to get it completed. It will complete very soon, but it's very small. So almost it's got completed. Yeah, it's completed. Now let me create a pull request. So we have opened this branch. So let me create a pull request. Uh, Put some description and let me create it. So as soon as I create the pull request, so when the pull request is opened, our workflow should be triggered. So let me create a pull request. So I created the pull request. I will go to the actions tab and let me refresh it. See, my workflow has been triggered. So basically, this is like a widely used thing, push and the pull request. So whenever person is doing any kind of changes, our test should be triggered. All right. So our test has been triggered. Or not the test, basically our workflow has been triggered. And that workflow it could be test or it could be deployment, it could be anything. All right. So our workflow has been triggered. So that's it. This is a very small video in which we have covered push and the pull request event. There could be so many kind of like maybe whenever you are going to create an issue, right? Whenever you create a project, whenever you are create a branch, whenever you are delete a branch. So, but that create a branch, delete a branch, those are not widely used, but these are widely used. So that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you.